Hey everyone, today I just wanted to do a video talking about how I made my garage door significantly quieter than it used to be. If you're someone who uses your garage a lot, you can really see this as a point of pride. And having a really loud squeaky door is not only obnoxious, but it puts a lot more stress on the opener and related hardware. So this is a very simple DIY project. You could do it yourself, but having a second person is helpful to kind of manually bring the door up and down to work the lubrication in. But it's not expensive, and you can do it in about an hour. Only tools you're really going to need for this are probably about an 8-foot ladder and a couple of rags and a couple of cans of lubrication. Basic lubrication you can find at really any hardware store. The two you're going to need are white lithium grease. This is actually going to be what you'll be using as a lubricant for all your various hinges and moving parts, and a can of your standard WD-40. Now, contrary to popular belief, WD-40 is not a lubricant, is actually a cleaner and degreaser. So you're basically going to use this for any of the cleaning that needs to be done, like on the track, and this as your actual lubrication for all your various pivot points. And having these with the straw that flips up and down also makes the job a little bit easier, because there are certain spots where you're going to need to spray and some spots where you need a little bit more precision. So basically, the simple explanation of this whole thing is any point that actually moves, you're going to want to lubricate, because this door probably has about 50 points on it where it's metal-to-metal contact where it moves. So all these pivot points right here, top to bottom, side to side, all need lubrication on them, because all those small little pivot points add up to make a lot of noise, a lot of squeaking, and a lot of more stress on the door. Same thing here, all these various pivot points. Now the wheels, you can put lubrication on the seams. This has plastic wheels on them. If you have the wheels that have actual ball bearings on them, you want to put lubrication on the ball bearings themselves. You also want to lubricate the related hardware. Where the wire goes into the spool up top, you can put a little bit of lubrication on there to quiet it down. But by far the biggest difference you're going to find is the torsion spring. Now this obviously is dependent on how your door is set up. If you have an expansion spring on the side, you do not need to lubricate that, but the torsion spring has a tremendous amount of stress on it, and when the spring is coiling open and closed to cycle the door, it does make a lot of noise because the metal rubs against itself, so you're going to want to put a lot of that white lithium grease on that spring. That by far is going to make the biggest difference. And you also do the same thing on the other side. Basically any pivot point where there's metal to metal, you're going to want to put quite a bit of that white lithium grease on there, because it will make a tremendous difference. So that's what you're going to use the white lithium grease for, any sort of lubrication. Now the regular WD-40, you're going to want to use as a cleaner. The main thing you're going to want to clean is the track here. Contrary to popular belief, you do not lubricate the tracks on a garage door. Whether it's this type or the type where you have one in the middle where you have that I-beam where the trolley rides on it, you don't want to spray it on the bottom, because that does nothing but collect dust and dirt. With the ones in the middle with the trolley, you can put some on the inner part of the I-beam where the trolley actually rides. That'll make a big difference. But as far as on here, like I said, if you put put a lot of lubrication on here, or grease or anything, all it's going to do is collect dust, make a mess. It's going to get nasty, grimy over time, and it's just going to make the door not only louder, but it's going to make it more rough riding. And also, as you're going through here, make sure that all these bolts are tight when you're going through here. So take that WD-40, give the whole track a really nice cleaning top to bottom, and it's going to give a really nice place for the wheels to ride on, because these wheels do not need lubrication. They basically just ride in here as a dedicated road. Just like your cars on the road, you don't need any lubrication underneath your tires. Same thing here. As long as this is nice and clean, it's going to help keep the noise down and give it a nice, smooth ride. So unfortunately, the only places you really can't take a little bit of noise out of, depending on how your door actually rides, is sometimes they will rub backside of these bolts a little bit. Also, the seams where the different tracks meet up to each other, it still makes a little bit of noise when it transitions there a little bit. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it any closer than it is now, and I couldn't take that tiny little bit of rattle it has out of it, but it overall made a tremendous difference. So let me spin the microphone around, and we'll take a listen to this door. So that ended up making a huge difference. So it's not perfect, it's not dead silent, but if I'm sitting in the house now, I really can't even hear the door opening and closing. But overall, it was a fun project, and it made a huge difference to how much noise this door made. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.